the things you want to do in the year all ties back into discipline. And so if you're not disciplined, it's not going to happen. And when I was telling you about the sermon that everybody used to watch, it was Michael Todd's last sermon, it's like Cuff to the Clock. And so he said one thing that actually just reminded me of it is when you're trying to accomplish something, you can't just say you're going to do it, but then never do it because you're not disciplined enough to do it. And so you're always saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? Why is this, such and such, such and such? But then it's kind of like there's a reason why it's happening to you because you haven't changed.
Mm.
And you're waiting for a door to open, you're waiting for a blessing to come. But if you're still the same person, that blessing that you're wanting, you can't receive it because you're still that same person. So you're not going to be any better for that blessing or that, that goal or whatever you're asking for.
What's up, Growth Talk fam? We're at it again with another episode. This is episode 19 with Jamie and James. Super excited to be dropping some more gems and adding some more value to you. Man, let's get into it. We're just gonna go ahead and get into it. Oh, before we get into it, as always, we just ask that you like and share if something resonates with you, or someone gets put on your heart during the process of us talking. Definitely share it with them, and we would love for you to comment anything that does resonate with you. We'll love to connect with you and just hear your insight as well. So let's get into it. Bro, first of all, how are you? I know you just got back from Vegas. We was talking briefly about that, but how are you doing?
I'm awesome. I mean, a lot of things been happening, so just been super busy. But other than that, I mean, it's been a great, great finish to a year and everything like
That's what's
that.
up.
Because other than that, I mean, I'm just ready to hit the ground running. So I mean, like I said to you earlier when we was talking, it's like 2022, excuse me, it's pretty much almost over. And so just the things that I've been trying to go through and then like, knocking out goals or just setting new goals and just figuring out what I want to do for 2023 is just leaving the old me behind. Cause like I said to you earlier, it's like the new you has to be in 2023. It can't be the same, same new year, new me, but it's really not the new you. It's always the same you. You just going into a new year. And
Yes.
so it just one of those deals where you have to really self-reflect. And now we have our self-reflection just a while ago, but as a person, you got to self-reflect yourself. And that's just being honest with yourself. Like, okay, what are the things that, that you had set for this year? Did you accomplish them or did you not accomplish them? And if you didn't, cool, but just don't let that be a repeat of next year.
Yeah.
So that's been one of the things where I've been just looking at now. Just like I said, everything's been awesome. Everything's been good. There are things that I've reflected on that I haven't done, and to check that box off for next year that has to not happen again next year. So it happened
Yeah.
this year, so it can't be next year.
Yeah, I agree. What do you feel like the biggest thing, maybe if you want to share for you, that you would have to do, like as far as mental capacity, like the mental, like what do you feel like you have to do in order to not make a repeat of not checking that off this coming year, or what do you feel like would have to happen or change? And it don't
So I
have
would
to be
say,
personally you, or just it can just be like, what do you feel like a person, the mentality a person has to have?
well, I can say it for me too. But it reflects on anybody. It's self discipline. So really, the things you want to do in the year all ties back into discipline. And so if you're not disciplined, it's not going to happen. And when I was telling you about the sermon that everybody used to watch, it was Michael Todd's last sermon, it's like Cuff to the Clock. And so he said one thing that actually just reminded me of it is when you're trying to accomplish something, you can't just say you're going to do it, but then never do it because you're not disciplined enough to do it. And so you're always saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? Why is this, such and such, such and such? But then it's kind of like there's a reason why it's happening to you because you haven't changed.
Mm.
And you're waiting for a door to open, You're waiting for a blessing to come. But if you're still the same person, that blessing that you're wanting, you can't receive it because you're still that same person. So you're not going to be any better for that blessing or that, that goal or whatever you're asking for, because you're just going to ruin it. And it's just one of those things where self-discipline itself has to be the first priority.
Yeah.
And if you're not disciplined to what you want to accomplish in the next year, I think you're going to have the same exact year. Not to be like harsh or just keep it 100. You're just going to have the same exact year over and over and over. You're going to go through the first couple months excited, thinking about, oh, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. But then March, April, May comes, decrease, decrease, decrease. And then you're thinking like, dang, like now I'm so far behind. Like, what am I doing now? So then you like kind of forget all of your goals that you set. Now you're only trying to accomplish 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get farther into the year, still same you, still same habits, still same everything. Now by the end of the year, you're only accomplishing 1 goal.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that's a goal you accomplished. I'm saying that's a goal of reflection and say, dang, okay, next year I'm gonna start the new year, new me. So you really aren't accomplishing a goal. You're more so accomplishing the self-reflection of negativity to yourself. If that makes sense. You're not accomplishing anything. You're accomplishing something. You're accomplishing the same habit. You're not accomplishing a new goal. You're accomplishing the same habit. So although you're still taking discipline, but you're staying in discipline in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's true. That's real. And the thing is, discipline, it's not gonna always feel good. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I think sometimes that's what stops people is our feelings. Like, oh, I'm not feeling it today, so I'm not gonna do it. And and the truth is, it's like where the true test comes into play is when you don't feel like doing it, because it's easy, to have, to want to do it when it's easy. You get what I'm saying? Or when you feel like doing it, when you're motivated to do it. It's hard to do it when you don't have that motivation. And it's just, just understand discipline isn't gonna always feel, you're not gonna always feel like doing whatever it is. Then that's why I think what's been so helpful for me too, is writing my stuff down. Like, stop trying to store. I think a lot of times people are trying to store everything up here. But it's like, write the stuff down, put it in detail, and then maybe like write the big goal down, then work backwards to get to the smallest step possible, to then work yourself up to that big goal that you're trying to accomplish, because it's going to be all about the small steps that you do. But even doing those small steps is going to require discipline as well. And I honestly think for people to accomplish what they want, a lot of stuff comes into play, because I feel like purpose comes into play, because I feel like when you have clarity on purpose and you know what you're supposed to be doing, that alone will motivate you, because you understand it's almost like you're taking a responsibility of something that's outside of you or that's bigger than you. So it's like, it's not about me. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, if the responsibility of my purpose involves other people, and most of all, God gave it to me, how can I sit there and say, oh, how can I pick and choose when I want to do it? You get what I'm saying? Because it's like the clip I did see from Mike Tyler was, we have the arrogance sometimes to think that we have all the time in the world, and that's not the case. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know. It just, and then just saying no to things you need to say no to, managing your time, but like, and being committed too. Like, I think, like what you said, sometimes we doing the same thing, expecting a different result every single year, but we're not changing who we are. So it's like you had said, James, some people, you're not even recognizing the blessing because of the person that you're staying as.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, the blessing is there for you, but you can't even recognize it because of the mental state that you're in. And the mental state that you're in may be the old you, maybe from the old habits or the old programming or whatever space that you were in. So that's like what James is saying. You can't be the same you. You have to grow. You gotta grow. You gotta be intentional with your growth. And being intentional with your growth ain't always fun. You think people want to just be reading? Like, I mean, I'm at the place now
Oh,
where
but
I love
yeah.
reading, where I love reading. Like, I really just genuinely, I want the knowledge, I want the wisdom. So shoot, give it to me. So I listen to interviews, audios, all this different stuff. So that's me. But at the same time, it's been days where I don't feel like it at all. It's a lot of days where you're not gonna feel like it, but if you waiting around until you feel like it, you're gonna be waiting forever. And that's just not, you can't, in faith, you can't even with faith, you can't even base faith off of feelings, because sometimes you just gotta act in it even when you don't feel it, and then your feelings catch up later. Sometimes even getting you out the funk you in is just doing it. So your feelings can catch up later. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, now you feel good and all this type of stuff. But if you wouldn't even acted it out, you wouldn't even been in that space that you was in. But no, that was a lot. But I just
No, I mean that's good because I can hear that. I can even pinpoint it to a even stronger, deeper feeling to it. It's like how you said, sometimes you just got to put into action to get to what you want. But switch that around too. It's like something that you want may not be your time for what do you want. So maybe that blessing is for somebody else at that time. That's the hard thing about it. Because sometimes when you think about it, you're wanting something that you desire or believe that you can achieve. But sometimes you got to do a few steps before that before you get it. And that's the hard thing that people don't want to go through. It's because sometimes you have to sacrifice your own well-being to help someone else before you help yourself.
thanks. Thanks. And sometimes helping yourself is helping the other person. Like, it's amazing how God be working, but it's like, it's just from helping other people, it has automatically helped myself. You get what I'm saying? And man, it's just amazing how that works. But you're so right.
Because it's one thing, like I've learned that this year too. It's like you in times you got to be selfish, but at the times that you really need something from them, you have to be selfless.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that, but it helps you emotionally and internally to where, okay, you're releasing something to someone else. But you have to compromise what you are feeling. Like you said, what you're feeling is hard to release that. But if you change your mindset to it, what you're releasing is actually opening room for you to get receive more. So if you don't release it to somebody else, how do you expect to receive more? Not saying it's going to come tomorrow, not saying it's going to come even for a year from now, but you never know if you don't release it. So you're bottling it up. Like for instance, I can use this old clothes or just old shoes that I might have in there or something like that. If I say, actually, no, I'll use this example. When we was at this event, not event, but with my family, and me and my wife, we saw them like basically all the old food they had. She immediately thought about, man, they can give that to a homeless shelter. But who is the owner to know that to where, okay, that can bless the homeless. So now you're not just wasting food, you're giving food. So then in return, if they think about it, you're giving food, okay, now that might bring more revenue to yourself in your business. But that they don't know that exposure that they're leaving out from giving it to the homeless, it doesn't bring any exposure to you.
Yeah.
So it's different ways that you don't think about in life that sometimes you got to help somebody else in order to help yourself. And that doesn't mean you're getting help yourself that like the next day or a week from now. Sometimes you have to be just waiting on just waiting. Just continue to keep helping, but just wait. Keep waiting, help, wait. And then when that time is right, you're not only helping somebody, you're not only waiting, you're actually building your character.
Facts. And that's the thing right there. That's the key, the character piece. Because that's what it's doing. It's building, a lot of our character building is tied into our service to other people. You get what I'm saying? Like, and to be honest, my belief is all of our purposes is tied into serving other people. It's not about us. If that was the case, think about what Jesus did. He did the biggest selfless act that anyone in this world could ever imagine. No one in this world will ever be able to do what he did, ever. You get what I'm saying? But the fact that he came down, just to do that purpose, to serve that purpose for you and I and everyone that's listening, that lets you know what our purpose is tied to serving other people. Maybe not to the extent of what Jesus went through. Thankfully, that's another reason him paying the price. So we don't have to do that same thing, but we will have suffering, we will have challenges, there will be adversity and stuff like that. And he's a picture of showing us that you can overcome it with him. But just understand that all of our purpose is tied into that. And I think we live in this world, this era where everybody's like me, self-made. I did this, I got this. It's all about I, and it's like, damn, man, it's not about that. Because the fact of the matter is, anything of significance that you build, you're gonna need other people at some point. You ain't gonna be able to do it on your own. Anyone that did anything of significance, they had a team behind them doing it. So it's like, if you want somebody, because eventually you're gonna, whatever it is that your purpose or your business or whatever the case is, that for the viewers and listeners, at some point you're gonna have to build a team, right? You want your team to be selfless too, because what if they're withholding? What if they're keeping everything to themselves? What if they only thinking about them? Then shit, it's gonna be tough. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but that character piece takes time, because that's that. Man, that character piece, us helping other people, like you said, builds our character, and I think that's so key.
Yes, you just gotta. That's just the hardest part about it, that people have to realize to do. And until you fully just let go of that, then you can't really build strong character, I would say. Because if you're still holding something, and most of the time people know what they need to do. It ain't really nothing new. It's nothing. Every year is always the same. And most of us all know what we need to do. We've been either, given that feeling, given that, what do you call it? Strong sense of feeling, whatever. But we know what we need to do personally. Even if it's just like helping someone tie a shoe. If that's a purpose that you need to do, it could be the smallest thing. Yeah. Like, hey, for instance, God talks to you and say, hey, tie this person's shoe for me. They can't really do it. Are you being obedient to it? Or no? He's like, I don't want to tie that person's shoe. Okay, now you're being disobedient. How do you expect to get something else?
Yeah.
Give somebody a piece of tissue. I mean, it can be the weirdest thing that you might be called to do. But then if you don't do it, then you're not being obedient. So, okay, say if you're asking for something that you want in return, if that person doesn't help you, that they've been called to help you with, and it defeats the purpose of you receiving what you want. If it was in somebody else's hand, for them to be obedient, and them being obedient returns what you want, but they said no and they didn't be obedient, how would you personally feel about it? So use that perspective. Okay, if I'm supposed to give this glue to somebody because they need it. I don't know they need it, but they really are looking for that glue that day. They need it that day, but I'm disobedient because God told me to say, hey, they need that glue that day. It might sound weird to me in the time, but not knowing that they need it in that day, I don't give them this glue. Now that just messed up like $1 million worth of revenue for them. So what if that was you in reverse?
Yeah.
Someone had the glue, they didn't give it to you because it was disobedient. And then that loses all your revenue right there. So you have to think of it from a different perspective.
Okay. Now that's a good picture that you painted, bro. That was real good. And I think too, like, we gotta heal. Everybody gotta do, and it goes back to the work. That, like what we were saying earlier, you can't stay the same you. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I understand everybody done been through a lot. People done lied to them, done said they gonna do this, not do that. Then people done seen all types of stuff, from people, and they got hurt from people, and got pain was caused from people. So a lot of times people have this guard up, but I think that's why we have to do forgive. Yeah, definitely forgive. Huh?
I said that's hard to do too, but you gotta just do it. Yeah. I mean, you're not gonna really fully heal if you don't do it. And I just brought another scenario. Sorry to cut you off, but that just brought another scenario. Like I used to see old sayings where, rich people or something like that, and you wouldn't take them out to lunch because you don't want to pay for them because they already rich. You're not gaining that meal, you're gaining that brain. So you have to kind of think of it from a different perspective. You're not taking them to lunch because okay, they're rich. Okay, they can buy their own lunch. You're not getting the lunch, you're getting the brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching this show the other day, this cooking show. It was lit. It's on Netflix. I forgot what it's called, but some cost to cook, something like that. I don't know, but it's a good show. Anyway, so they had a certain amount of money. Each contestant gets a certain amount of money at the beginning of the game. It's 2 rounds, but they have like auctions. They auctioning the box that they get to start their cooking or whatever, and then they have different items that come down this like conveyor belt that they can purchase or whatever. And so this money is being deducted from their bank account, big bank account. They all get 25,000. And then whoever wins at the end, they get to take all the money that they had in their bank account. Well, one person, they end up paying for, so in behind the scenes, it's a Michelin chef that's preparing these boxes and the auctioning stuff, the stuff that they're sending out and stuff like that. Right. And so think of it like a Gordon Ramsay behind the scene or someone of that caliber. And one person paid for they could get insight on one of their dishes that they were making at the time. And so they paid for it. And everybody else didn't at all. And the thing is, like, it kind of ties in what you're saying. People don't understand that value, like, and they end up winning the whole thing. Because it's like
yeah, I bet the other ones regretted it then.
Yeah, because like you get insight onto somebody. It just made me think of that when you had said gave that example, what you were talking about the brain, the mindset, the value of what you're getting from their mind. That caused her to win the whole show. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, you can't look at it from a place of, oh, well, they can afford it or they got it, and at the end of the day, just the act of giving, like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, bless them too, bless, no matter how much money, we shouldn't even be looking at that anyway, in my opinion. Like, if God put it on your heart to bless somebody, regardless of who they are, do it. You get what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that's just, you gotta just think of it differently. That's all it is, perspective. Yeah, I would say just new year, just going to the new year with more self-discipline, because it's going to help you in the long run, not just the next year, but the next years after that. Because like I said, like you said, it's like we don't have all the time in the world. So it's kind of like, stop postponing or waiting to get something done.
And then blaming God the reason why you postponing and waiting. Because it's the thing, like sometimes we as Christians, we get that so confused, like, well, I'm waiting on God. You can be waiting on God while you're actively doing what he's already told you to do. Like, you may be waiting for the next step. You may be, you know what I'm saying, or waiting for what's next, what but he's giving you things to do in that moment. Now, does some of that sometimes require, like where you was talking about, there's times where, you got to be selfish. I think I agree. There is times where you got to be selfish in the extent of for your own mental and your soul state, right? So you may have to fight to get back and rest because you've been out of rest, you've been anxious, you've been worried, you've been all these different things, and you may have to fight to get back and rest. So it may require you to silence the noise and quiet the noise, all right? But that process, if you're actively working to fight to get in rest, okay, that may not be an extremely long process. I'm gonna put it like that. You know what I'm saying? It just, just do the work, and then, but understand that God is giving you things to do while you wait on him. You get what I'm saying? Like, in a sense of growth, that's free to me. That's free. Like, there's so much on social media, not even just social, YouTube, there's so many ways that you can access people's brains that it's literally, if it's not getting done, it's on you. It's on the individual. So no one can force you to go pick up that book. If people that you've been listening to is saying, yo, check out this book, check out this video, listen to this audio, this has helped me, and you choose not to, then why would God give you the next step anyway? If you can't even, we can't even do the small. If we can't even open, I want to be wealth. I'm going to use wealth as an example, but let's say I want to be, a better leader. Or I want to be better with finances as far as management, but I don't plug into anything that's going to help that. How are we expecting that to come? I just don't understand. Because God is going to bring the blessing most of the time in the form of a person anyway. So if we don't plug into the person that he brings, or, whatever, how are we going to receive it anyway? And I guess that's what you were saying earlier, bro, of just like, you got to become the person to even receive the blessing that God wants to get to you. Like he's giving us stuff to do during that waiting process. Grow, develop, participate in our own rescue of molding our character, of developing our character. Because he's like, I want you to have this character. Okay, but there is going to be work required. You're going to have to put in some work. You're going to have to even learn how to develop the character. You even need to learn what the character looks like. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, if we're wasting this time in not anything, it blows my mind, because we're wasting our potential. In my opinion, you're wasting your potential. So
that's facts.
2023, we just gotta look, like James said, you can't be the same person that you was in 2022, 2020, 2021. Stop having this in social, everybody got this victim mentality. So many people that blaming everybody else. Just take accountability of yourself. Get around other people that's gonna hold you accountable too. And stop thinking that anytime somebody holds you accountable, that they're coming at you or they're attacking you. It's just the reason why we feel that way is because we've never have been open to really constructive feedback. But the only way that you grow is if you get constructive feedback, because everybody got blind spots. I got blind spots. James got blind spots. Everybody got blind spots. So it's like we got coaches because we got blind spots. You get what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes you're gonna hear things that's gonna help you, what's the word? Help you tweak some of the areas tweak some of the things that you need to grow in and be better at. You're making tweaks along the way. But it's like, if we're not getting so I say all to say, stop thinking that when someone's giving you a tweak that it's attacking you. But the problem is, so many people been around people that are just yes, man. We talked about this before too, James. Like you're around people that they agree with everything you say. Everything you say is they're agreeing with everything. That doesn't help you. And then as soon as somebody don't agree, you attacking me. Oh, everybody got an attitude. Because nah, it really is like, you should respect that person more, that they even have the courage to tell you, because so many other people, they see it, they're just not telling you because they don't have enough courage to come tell you. So then when you got people in your life that do, respect that. That's love. That's what love look like. Love ain't this fairy tale of what everybody thinking. Love is, you embracing me. Yeah, you lifting me up. Yeah, you speaking life into me. You're encouraging me, but you're also giving me feedback that can help me. That because I may be looking at it wrong. I may be seeing it from a whole different perspective. And that feedback helps you make that adjustment, helps you make that tweak. So you don't keep like what James was saying in the beginning, you don't keep up the same habits every year. You're keeping up the same habits every year because everybody in your life is just letting you do the habit and they're not telling you anything.
Yeah. Just giving you the hurrah, what do you call it? The rah-rah speech or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you get them next time. You got it.
Yeah.
Ain't figured nothing out. Still just doing the same old crap.
For real. thinking, oh, well, maybe I just need to do it faster next time. Or no, you
Yeah.
need to change up how you're going about doing it. That's what's the issue. But they not want to tell you that information because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But it's not about hurting your feelings. It's about giving you feedback out of love because I want the best for you. I want you to grow. I want you to reach your full potential. I want you to be the best leader that you can be, not just within your business, not just within your job, but within your household. You get what I'm saying? For your kids. So it's like, stop. We live in this world where people are like, they're always think somebody's coming at them when they're being held accountable, and they just don't know what accountability looks like.
Yeah. It's also how you carry yourself too. It brought some funny things. Like, she always gets on me about me wanting to talk to people. And there was before we finish, I don't know if you have any more else to say, but I had a funny story in the airport. It was this Chinese dude, and he speaks good English after I spoke to him. And he had a nice backpack, and I asked him, I was like, "Who'd you got your backpack?" He looked, he was like, "My friend," and just looked away. I'm just like, why are people shut down so easy? I'm just trying to be nice and ask for your backpack because I love your backpack. But it's just like, people, you just be open to more like just connections. Like, I don't know. I just like to, just talk to people sometimes. And then it's like, I have my modes where I'm just kind of like, I don't want to be bothered. But yeah, I mean, if you have a compliment, like I even complimented a guy, I was like, okay, I like his suit. He looked at me and just gave me like a thank you. But you can tell it caught him off guard because I was like, you might not receive compliments like that. So then who knows how he responded later? He might have been feeling himself later. I hope he did. I mean, he
Right.
really had a nice
Confidence be
suit.
like, oh,
Yeah, I'm just like,
you
okay,
already know.
let me suit up a little bit. But I'm just like, you don't hear
Yeah,
that much.
for
So it's like
real.
if you do that for certain people, you can tell they're caught off guard because that's not how the world works. And so even something like that to where you're doing something like that, that gives people more confidence to, okay, if they're struggling that day, they might be feeling more, better about themselves to where their next adventure could be like a lot better. It could have put them in a lot better mood. It could have been, for instance, I'll use him an example, like the dude suit. He could have been, for all I know, he could have been speaking in the next 2 hours, or he could have been going to an event after the next 2 hours. He could have not been ready for that event. But me giving him the compliment saying, "Hey, your suit looks phenomenal," and now he's feeling himself. Now he goes to the event, and just connections like that. Just wasn't feeling about going to the event, but now since you gave him a compliment, he feels himself. So it's kind of like you just uplifting
Swag
people.
on 1,000.
Yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
just never know. So it's like the smallest thing that you can do for people, it might not be for you, but it might help them. So stop always trying to get, like you said earlier, it's like just stop thinking it's all about you. It's not always about you.
Thanks. Yeah. We here to impact, man, impact other lives. Like, and in the process, like we've been saying, our life is going to be impacted automatically. We're going to be benefit from it. But yeah, bro, I wanted to touch one more thing before we jump off. I just wanted to bring this up because, and I know you haven't really seen it like that, but I had seen, everything with Deion Sanders going to Colorado. Just to kind of give you a quick summary, short story, he went to Jackson State, been there for about 3 years. And I think this also ties in with even like what you were talking. Did you just sneeze, bro?
No, I just coughed.
Okay, I was gonna say bless you, but bless you anyway.
No, I just coughed.
Okay, but yeah, he was been there for 3 years. Did so much for the school. Brought so much media, other platforms that typically wouldn't go to HBCU and view the athletic programs, especially with football and all of that. He shined light on HBCUs all around the world. And he, built a new facility within there for football, just brought other money and resources and stuff like that to the program. And after 3 years, and then won 2 championships, bowl championships or something like that since he's been there. Basically, he's made a big impact since he's been there. He's given back and all of that. And then when he decided to leave and go to Colorado, a lot of people felt like he was a sellout, like he that he was there. Because he, I guess they felt like, well, we were making an impact here, and I thought it was a movement. I thought we was doing something big and major within HBCUs, and then all of a sudden he left, he's leaving. And so people felt some type of way. And yeah, I just, for me, it's like you can't be mad at somebody else for moving on to something else that God has put on their heart to do. Because you never know what that person's purpose or calling is. And just because he's going to, because they're talking about him going to a PWI instead of doing the HBCUs and all of that. But it's like there's Black kids at the other school and all of that. And then my thing is too, that's opening up more doors for other people. So it's kind of like what, even with timing, just understanding that, time waits on nobody. Like we're just putting things off. But see, with him, and his foundation is God. And a lot of people saying he did it for the money, and it was more money that he was getting. He even took a pay cut at Jackson State just for simply, wanting to put it back into the school. So half of his money that they were giving him for coaching there, he gave back to the school so he can put it into the school. But it's like people still wasn't satisfied, and all these different things. And I just feel like, people, we got to understand that that's more opportunity. He's opening up more doors for other people. And don't condemn a person or they'll sell out now because they're moving on to another opportunity that God has blessed them with. You know what I'm saying? So
I'll keep it like short and sweet, really. But it was a basketball. This is related to basketball language. If you got an injury in people, well, we always usually say next man up.
Yeah.
So he leaves. Cool. He did all that he could there. So it just sounds to me that people aren't ready to step up.
Exactly.
So
And that's another thing.
Instead of just waiting on him to do everything for your school, if you if you really love that school and you was there before him or after him, in all respect to Dion, I mean, I wouldn't care. I'm just saying, I mean, yeah, I respect him as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I honestly wouldn't care if he's there before me or after me. I don't care. Because if I love that school, like, I don't know, I feel like that's just stab in the heart, because it's like, okay, if I'm going to shame him for leaving, but I was there before him, how come I couldn't do some of the smallest things that I could have done for the school myself to have an impact? I don't need to have millions to impact the school if I really enjoyed that school or love that school. So I feel like regardless of what he done for the school, yeah, I mean, he has the resources and the revenue to do it. But at the same time, if you're relying on, you're bound to fail anyways if you're relying on one person.
Facts.
So
I
just
agree.
step up. I mean,
yeah.
Just step. I mean, it's plain and simple. Just step up. I mean, it's like, okay, he's done now. What are you gonna do then?
Yeah.
You gonna keep talking about him leaving?
Right. Exactly. And how it was just, and I think people missing that. Like, listen, if his purpose is, we don't know what that man's purpose is, right? But it's like you said, step up. He's opened the door for other people to come in and do what of his caliber to actually do what he did. Honestly, there should be more retired athletes from on his caliber that are coaches that's in colleges and not just with football. You get what I'm saying? If that's the case, like, and it just opens the door for other people to come in and see, like, dang, we can take this to the next level. We can, he started it, we can take it to the next level, and and go on and go on. Because and then with him going to the next level, like I said, it opens the doors for other athletes, regardless of color, to come through the door as well. And you never know, like kind of what we were talking about earlier of giving. We don't know who God has at that other school for him to give to, of what's on the inside of him. For him, there may be an assignment at that other school for him to be serving, right? We don't know that, right? And so, but yeah,
That's just two
I'm the
things.
same.
I mean, that's one thing I don't get about people, man. And I will never understand it. I just, like I said to you earlier, I haven't read into the story, but I mean, him being a Hall of Famer, people put athletes like professional athletes on a pedestal. Like if I saw, like I enjoy like The Rock. If I saw him in
Mhm.
person, okay, cool. I would like, man, can I get an autograph or something like that? I'm not going to do it to go crazy if he did something for. He does a lot, but I'm not just going to be, oh my gosh, I'm bowing down to him. No, it's like that's what it sounds like to me. It's just people just
Yeah.
he came in, stepped in, he did stuff for the school. I'm just like, and he wanted to change pathways. I don't care. Like, do what you need to do. That's one thing that I had to think about when we had that one conversation. It's like, why am I concerned about somebody else and what they want to do?
Mhm.
It shouldn't even be like that. It should more so be, why are you worried about what he's doing now? Then you're still at the school. What can you do? Like, seriously, what can you do for the school? Okay, he finished
Yeah.
what he did. What can you now do for the school? Like, it shouldn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what position he's in or who, I don't know. But it just, I hate when it's a pet peeve of mine when people put the athletes like that, like high caliber athletes, on a pedestal, like they're just
Yeah.
God, something like that. Like, no, it's, what if he came to that school and then ruined the school? It would be no different. You would still want it, then you would want him out.
Yeah.
So
But
he came
and that's
there.
what's crazy. He came there and did something good and positive. Now he a sellout for leaving. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's mind
it
blowing.
don't make sense, because if he came there and ruined the school, then you'd be like, okay, you need to get out. But then he came there, but then he came there and did some positive stuff, and he said, okay, I did all I can do, and now I want to change pathways. I want to take this different approach. I want to go figure out what else I can accomplish for people, if that's his goal. But then you want to bash him for leaving.
Yeah, I can't stand that because it just I don't know. It's weird, man, that people do that. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know,
Yeah,
and that's
lose
where
lose.
it is. Yeah, it's a lose-lose. You can't please nobody. That's what I've learned. Social media, that's one thing social media has taught me just from observation. No one is ever gonna be pleased with any.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never it
It's
don't matter
never.
what you do. It's like it's not good enough. But like you said, I agree. Like, and I think even from with athletes and famous people in general, people put them on a pedestal of like they're like God or something, and it's like no, these people are regular people.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't know
regular
what
people.
they got going on. Yeah, you don't know what they got going on behind closed doors or what's going on in their household or nothing. And some people
If
be
I
putting
was
them
if
on
I
a
was Dion, I was like,
pedestal.
you're lucky I gave you a freaking penny.
And Dion, he just moving on. He doing it gracefully. I mean, he could have went off on. It's just what it just seemed like people was just heartbroken in a way. Like if they first loved them and they first love just broke up or something. It was like they heartbroken
I
or
mean, I
they
get
just
it, but at the
like
same time, it's
it's the same
let
people.
people
Listen,
move on. I mean, geez.
for real. This is what I started saying. It's the same people that when Harriet said I'm about to go. Y'all can
Yeah,
stay here, but I'm about to go. They're the
yeah,
same people that they probably people was talking about Harriet. You think people they wasn't talking about Harriet about leaving? No, they was talking. Oh, she left. She thinks she better than us. Oh,
yeah.
you already
It's
know.
always something.
They just didn't have social media, but
Yeah,
she
it's
was,
always man.
for real, man. But yeah, I just closing out, just to close out, bro. Any final statements or feedback or anything that you want to give before going into 2023?
I would just say, just be disciplined with yourself and hold yourself accountable. If you get it done, you get it done. But don't give an excuse on why you did. If it's a legitimate excuse, it's like, oh, I'm about to freaking something going wrong with yourself, then okay. But if it's just because I don't feel like I want to do it, then that's just an excuse. Don't be that person in 2023.
Yeah. I love it. That mine the same. Have that discipline and accountability, and even pick you a word to stand on going into the new year. I know my word is execution. So, and that's going to take discipline and accountability. You know what I'm saying? So pick your word to stand on. If that helps, everybody's different. Actually got that from you. And then what jogged my memory about it was Chelsea's manager has them doing the same thing. So I was like, man, let me do that too for this coming year. So that was the word that was on my heart, was execution. So yeah, find you a word to stand on, and it got, and then see what you
Believe it.
got to do to make that happen. And what you say, bro?
I said, just believe in it.
Facts. Well, thank y'all for tuning into another episode 19. Man, it's such an honor and blessing to just be able to add value to you. Again, if anything resonated with you during this talk, please hit that like button, share button, even put something in the comments that resonated with you, because it may help someone else that tunes in later. As always, God bless. We love y'all and have a good one. We out.
Peace out.